family, we have giants in our midst, and in this moment, not only do we get to meet them, but we get to give them the credit and the praise they deserve. They are educating, creating, providing resources, doing what they can to make the world better, our world better. This is For the Culture. Hey!
Hello, my love. How are you?
I'm so good. I am so excited.
I am as well.
So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I really appreciate you reaching out and for us connecting so soon.
Now, for anyone that's seeing this for the first time, I have on here the one and only Miss Florence Prophet Barbour, and on For the Culture, oftentimes like sis, brother, right, like that kind of thing. But this is actually blood relative that I have on, my Auntie Flo, and I'm so grateful to know you, to be related to you, to have you on as a guest. So thank you again, truly, for being here.
My dear, thank you for having me. I am so honored to be part of this series, and I'm proud of all the work that you do. So you know how I feel about you. I don't need to go into detail.
She like me or whatever, she like me. So let's do it. Let's jump into the nitty gritty. Let's start with, if you don't mind, just sharing a little bit about you. Who are you?
So, wow, where do we begin? So, my name is Florence Prophet Barbour. I am a wife and mother, which I consider one of my two blessings and two of the aspects of life that God has destined me for. I am also the executive director of Barbour Child Care, which is an early childhood program in Nassau County on Long Island. We have 5 centers, and I work with a wonderful group of men and women servicing children from birth to 5. And I'm also back in school getting my doctorate. I've been wanting to get my doctorate for quite some time, and I finally found the opportunity as well as the time to make it happen. So that's been a blessing. That's been an absolute blessing. So I'm a little busy, just a little.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just 37 hats. That's all.
Very
That's
much.
it. Light work. So my mind is already spinning with questions I want to ask you. We'll go deeper, of course, into your background first. Tell us, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Brooklyn. I lived in Brooklyn until I was 13 years old. And then we moved out to Long Island. And I've been on Long Island for the past 40 years or so. I moved out of Long Island for about a good, maybe 7 years, and lived in Queens for a little bit, which was a wonderful experience living on my own. So I've done the Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island set, went to school in New Jersey. So I know New Jersey as well. So I've been around. I've done a few state hopping.
I love it. The New York, New Jersey metro
area
life, right? And what about your family?
So I am of Haitian descent. My parents are both generation. I'm a first generation American, so my parents are immigrated from Haiti. And I have to be honest, I do consider myself Haitian. I do see myself and view myself in that light as a Haitian American woman, a Haitian first, American second. The culture for me is who I am and what resonates with me. That's what vibrates with me. So I've always considered myself in that regard. And I was very blessed. Very short story. When in elementary school, I went to a school called the Bilingual Center. So Bilingual Center, I was the first class at the Bilingual Center, and it began back in '72, if I'm not mistaken. And in '72, it was, I guess, what you would call now a charter school of sorts, where kids from Haitian backgrounds as well as from Spanish backgrounds were given opportunities to learn in their own language. So I was blessed to be surrounded by Black teachers and Black Haitian male teachers, besides as well as white, Spanish, and other diverse, demographical people teaching us.
Mhm.
But I was very much exposed to these wonderful Haitian people who taught me. And so I was always very proud of who I was. We had Haitian Flag Day festivals, and we had all these
That's
types of
awesome.
festivals. It's PS 189 now. So it's truly a school that left an imprint on me, and we were a diverse school student body, black, white, Hispanic. So we were a very diverse student body. So my upbringing was extremely hmm, was diverse. I was truly exposed to so much at such a young age, and I realized that's a blessing because you don't see that often anymore.
So I'm learning already, right? Things that I didn't know, and watching you operate and navigate in the world. First of all, you're such an inspiration.
Oh,
Um,
thank you for saying that.
you,
Thank you. I appreciate.
uh,
I don't. I guess when you're in it, you don't see it or you don't feel it, so you don't know it. So thank you for saying that.
yeah, you've always been a beacon of light, and in seeing you operate, number one, you're a powerhouse, right? So for me, growing up and seeing you, you've always been an example of this highly educated, powerful Black woman. You have a poise about you, which is which is amazing, especially considering Haitians can be a lot, and so
Yes, we can. Yes, we
Haitians can
can.
be a lot, y'all, and not that we can't all cut up, right? Because we all have our moments, but also seeing, you are also an example for me of something that was different, of someone that was different, of operating differently, and with grace.
Oh, thank you for that. I
My
appreciate
pleasure. Thank you for being that, right, for me, in the world. And so, even with you sharing your background and your experiences, it it explains so much.
it.
Exposure, exposure makes a world of difference.
It does. Exposure and access. I think one of the issues that we face as a society is we don't offer our kids access and we don't
Mm,
offer them the exposure. And having the access and the exposure allows them to one see themselves in a myriad of ways.
yeah.
I saw myself reflected to me. And
Wow.
what a wonderful thing to see a black teacher, to see black men, to see women, white, black, Hispanic women. So for me, I never. I mean, granted, being Haitian, you just basically don't have a choice in terms of you're going to be this. You'll be lawyer, doctor, or engineer. So
Right.
yeah, so there wasn't much of a choice, but um, I didn't mind not having that choice because it was so reflected to me and
Wow.
for me. You know what I mean? So I don't know if
That's
that makes
amazing.
sense, but
It
uh,
does. It really does.
in that regard, and at such
So,
a young age too, because I started
yeah,
kindergarten. It was at 5 years, from 5 to 13. That's what I knew. That's who I
that's
knew.
huge. That's huge. I have I won't stay here, but there's a gentleman that I remember I went to high school with him, and we just spoke about the same thing, education and growing up. And for him, he was saying, I had never encountered a white person in my life before high school.
Wow.
And this is in New York, and
Wow.
this is in New York. But I think about that now as you say it, depending on what it is you're exposed to, and not that, like there's a specific space that you need to be in, but
No.
I appreciate you saying that and putting that point of view, that perspective out there. So let's talk about the world that you live in, executive director. Uh,
Oh boy,
and
the world that I live in. Okay. Whew.
yeah, the world that you live in.
Stretch on that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Give
Exactly.
yourself one of them, right? So, can you give us some more insight into what are your responsibilities? What do you do?
Oh, wow. So basically, as the executive director of this early childhood program, I am responsible for the day to day operations of the centers. So there's 5 centers: Glen Cove, Uniondale, New Hyde Park, Mineola, and Manhasset. So there's 5 centers, and we employ about almost 200 people. So these 200 people I am responsible for in terms of employment. And we, before COVID, we serviced about 1,000 students.
Wow.
So we service, now we have about half. So about, well, no, maybe 600. So we're about at 600. Okay. We're at 60%.
Okay.
Which is good. God, God has blessed us, which is very good in light of where other daycare programs are compared to us. So we've been very blessed to stay open, keep our doors open, keep everybody safe. But the hats that I wear are dependent on the day. Some days it's all about fundraising. Some days it's all about marketing. Some days it's day-to-day stuff like, hiring, firing. I hate to say it, firing.
Real life.
Yeah, exactly. But most of the time, I think my job is to be of service to others in my job, in my workplace. So my goal is to always go to where people are, meet them where they are, find out what they need, see how I can be of service or how I can help them get to where they are. Leadership is not about saying, do as I say, and that's not it. For me, leadership is being helpful, is to help and to sort of support people and get them to the next level. For example, one of the people I work with is the director of one of our centers, and she came to me on Friday and said, "Guess what I'm doing?" I said, "What?" She was like, "I'm going for my doctorate. Because of you, I'm going for my doctorate." And I've been trying to encourage her to go. When I tell you, she is going to knock it out the box. And to hear that, and she was like, "You're going to mentor me. You're going to do this." And I said, "You don't need anybody." She was like, "Yes, you are." And then, I'm a little scared of her. I'm a little scared. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little scared. So, of course I am. But when you hear stories like that,
yeah,
it's just such a blessing. My goal is to help everyone shine. And when everybody else shines, I shine.
That's so good. You definitely, at least from what I can see from the outside looking in, the definition of a servant leader, which is beautiful, because leadership, good leadership can take folks right, can take folks to new levels and to deeper depths.
Yes.
So would you have thought that you would be here or in this position or at this level? Because I know you have an extensive background. You didn't always work in childcare.
I did not. So, long story. I'm going to try and truncate my resume, so to speak. So I started out in psychology, bachelor's in psychology, and master's in psychology, and went into servicing and working with adults with developmental disabilities. So I did that for a minute. And then as I was working in that field, I realized I could make more of an impact in policy and administration. So I went and got my master's in public administration. And that was, oh my God, that was such a wonderful experience in learning about being a public servant and what it entails and how administration truly works. So that was great. And then, of course, how God works. I'm like, I like administration, but I like educational administration. So I went and received what was then called the School Administrator Certificate, but now it's called a School Business Leaders Certificate. So I went and got that. So which helped me get the knowledge, the book knowledge, if you will, on how to lead a school and how to work with diverse populations, so on and so forth. So that's been it's been great. As you know, you hear this all the time, knowledge is power. It truly is.
Yeah.
It truly is. That's something that no one could ever take away from you. Whatever you have in here is yours. And what you do with it is what matters. So it's important to get to know that.
You dangerous.
Silly.
I'm just saying, like, okay, so anyone else, I don't know if you guys caught this, anybody that's watching, but my auntie Phil literally just sat here and was like, yeah, and then I got this degree, and then and then I went here and I got my master's, and then I was a BC. This is my version, and not that you said it this way, but I'm just loving all of like the way that you are so chalant about the fact that you're a beast out here in these streets. Like,
But you know what? I have to tell you, it is God's timing, and it's God's, will in my life. I did not, frankly speaking, when I went to get the master's in public administration, I opened up a newspaper. Yes, this is how old I am. I opened up a newspaper, and there was this program at Barbour College, get your master's in public administration. And it was very inexpensive. And it's a CUNY school, so it was really inexpensive. It was down the block from my job. There was nothing. I mean, it was phenomenal. And then I also continued there for my school business leaders certificate. So that was great. Even for the doctorate program, it's been God infusing his hands in everything. And that's been wonderful to see him at play. And, people say, how did you get here? It's through him. And it was a journey. It's a process. It's a process. Right. It's been a process. You and I have talked on many occasions about how, frustrated I was, and how, why God, why? And then you just realize, you sit back and like, oh, now I know why. Oh, I get it. All right. It took me a minute, but I get it. And it forces you to understand the meaning of trust and understand the meaning of faith.
That's so good. That's a whole word in itself. And you have implemented the things that you've learned.
Yes.
That's powerful. Like you've taken the experiences and the education and you actively put them to work for you. And for the community, I should say, rather, right? Like, again, you have you have so many awesome experiences. And so to see, again, even your creativity and piecing things together, and also your obedience, right? And saying yes, when God is like, hey, go left, right?
Right. And hey, let me tell you, and it's not easy to say yes, especially when you're like, no, but I want it to go right. What do you mean go left? I want it to wait. I want it to go this way. And it's hard. It is hard. And the reason I'm saying this, because I want whoever is listening to this, I don't want them to give up, because it's so easy to give up. It's so easy to just say, you know what? No one's hearing. He's not hearing me. I'm like, no. He is truly listening. It's his time, not ours. It's his plans, not ours.
That's you're light. You are light. So you're okay. So you're currently the executive director. The pandemic has been an adventure, I'm sure, to say the least.
Yes, it has. As I take a deep breath.
Right. And you are also pursuing your doctorate degree. Okay, well, first off, like both of those are projects in themselves, but what projects are you currently working on? What's occupying your time, I guess?
Well, right now, I guess we are trying to continue to, for work, the workspace is continuing to ensure that we provide a safe and healthy environment for all our kids, as well as our teachers and all our staff members, and everyone involved with the organization, but also providing an environment where everyone is feeling heard, feeling cherished, feeling embraced. Because it's not. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people are like, well, this is just daycare and this is glorified babysitting. It is not. This is an early childhood, this is an early childhood program. We work with children from birth to 5, the most critical years.
Yeah.
The research shows these 5 years, all the synapses are firing and all the things, everything's happening.
Right.
So if you don't have a quality education, if you don't have a quality program such as ours,
yeah,
you are not going to see the strides that you would normally see in children. I love when I walk down the hall and the kids are like, "Hi, Miss Florence," and they're just so in tune and they just know who I am. Even the babies, the 2-year-olds, "Hi, Miss Florence." I'm like, "Hey, Avery. Hey, girl." you know and little things like that just reminds you about the beauty of this world, and how just it's simple. If we make it as adults, we make it complicated.
Yeah.
The world is so simple, and when you see it through the eyes of a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, it's just such a simple process. We complicate it and we make it worse. But as for work, that's my goal. We do the day-to-day stuff, the marketing, the fundraising, and things like that. But I think that's part of that. That's that silo, if you will.
Yeah.
Work. School is school. You're always going to have classes. Working on your research and working on trying to come up with some good themes and things that really make sense for your work, and things that would be valuable, because you don't want to do just all this research and it means nothing at the end. So my goal is to do some research on something valuable. And then there's family, which is even more important. And I've been blessed. I have a wonderful husband who supports me and is very much in tune with what I do. I have a soon-to-be 15-year-old who supports. She's 15. She's gonna be 15. She's gonna be 15. Your birthday child, your birthday month twin.
My girl.
Exactly. She's awesome. And that was interesting, navigating going to high school during the COVID era, because she just started high school. So navigating that was interesting, and I'm so proud of her for being able to find her voice.
Wow.
She's done wonderful. She truly has found who she is. And no, let me take it back. She's finding out who she is. I think we're all still trying to find out who we are, because we're, even at my old age, I'm still trying to find out who I am. So it's been great. So there's there's a lot happening, but you take it all one day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 hour at a time, but you just take it.
So let's stay in the same grain, because you want for folks not to give up, and you said something really powerful, that giving up is easy.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all been in that position where, in that moment, especially when you're considering giving up, for whatever reason, maybe you feel like the world is collapsing, or maybe you're just over it or don't feel like it. But that statement, I want to go there first, and then I want to continue with what you just shared. But giving up is easy. Keep going. Can we unpack that a little bit more? What do you mean by that?
So it's easy to throw up your hands and say, "I'm done." And the reason I say that is because the converse of that statement is that you now have to put in the work, right?
Wow.
And putting in the work is difficult. Putting in the work means that you got to maybe go into looking into doing some research or doing some work into whatever it is that you are hoping to do or hoping to happen. And I'll give you a perfect example, like just this current job that I'm in. I many a times I've given up because I prayed to God to move me forward. God, I want to move forward. In my last position prior to this, I was working for the same organization, but in a different capacity. And I was like, I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm good. I've been at it for a while. God, I need you to move me forward. I need you to move me forward. I need you to move me forward. And I was not getting moved. I wasn't moving. I would go for interviews, but nothing would happen, and but I wasn't moving. So I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. But what I did, and then after a while, God spoke to me and was like, well, prepare for the job that you want. Prepare for it. So I started doing the research and doing, okay, so if I want to be an ED, what are some of the things that you prepare for it? Yeah, instead of giving up and sitting back and be like, well, you know what, God, I am done. Forget about it.
That's good.
Yeah, you prepare. you take stock in what it is that you have. What skills do you need to then master in order for you to get the job or to get the opportunity? You can't just say I want to buy a house and then go buy it, unless you have that kind of money. Listen. I mean, some people do, but you have to do the work. You have to save. You have to do your credit. Find out your credit score. Do I want a VA loan, an FHA? You do the
Right.
work. Try to figure out. So you just can't say I want a house, and when the house doesn't appear, you give up, and you're like, well, you know what? No, you have to be able to do the work, and it's a lot of, and it's and work. It's work.
Yeah.
Work is work. People will not. People, it's easy just to sit back and just throw your hands up and lay in the cut, as the kids say. I don't know if they say that anymore, but maybe they do. But lay in the cut and just say, you know what, I'm not going to do anything. But now it's probably when you don't see things happening is when you start saying, okay, let me look and see how I can prepare myself for the next step.
That's good. That's so
Now,
good.
I also have to add, sometimes you also have to learn how to sit still. And sometimes you have to learn how to sit still. And I've had to learn how to sit still as well. Sometimes when the answer is not yet,
Right.
I never say to no. I always say, God always says not yet. It's because you need to sit still.
That's good.
You know, it's discerning. It's figuring it out which one it is at that time. And every situation will yield a different answer. You know.
I can go so many different ways. And talk about discernment and all, but I'm gonna say all task, y'all. Um,
Like,
and but
oh,
and you've done that. You've overcome many different experiences, trials, obstacles, and pressed forward. Right. Again, it's the reason why you have the accolades and honestly just the experience, the lived experience. I had another gentleman that I interviewed. He said he had lived experience, right?
yes.
That you do. What drives you? What
Oh,
keeps you going?
what keeps me going? That's a great question. I don't think I've ever even thought about what keeps me going. I just keep going. That's a great
Mhm.
question. What keeps me going? I don't know. I just feel like I just keep going. You know,
Mm.
I don't know what keeps me going. I guess knowing there is a light at the end of the tunnel, I guess.
Mm.
But I don't know if that's a great question. I don't know what keeps me going. I just believe you just go. I don't think I've ever,
Just
you know what
go.
it is? I think we just go. I have to tell you, and I think you may understand this as a child of Haitian parents. You do go. You just go. I don't, you
Yeah.
don't, yeah, you just go. There isn't an impetus or motivation to do it. You just do it. Yeah, you know.
Right.
I don't think
That's
I've,
so good.
yeah, I have not known anything other than to just go.
That's so I'm gonna ask you this then.
Okay.
What do you think it was that got you going to begin with?
In what direction? In what way?
Um, towards towards anything that I guess that calls to you, like you have the desire, even like you said, to
Yeah.
create this space where people feel appreciated and to serve and create these environments. What even got you going to begin with?
I guess for me, I think it's creating a space of love. And I know it sounds
Mm.
cliche, corny, or whatever, but I have to tell you, I've always felt that when you approach anything, actually, I guess from a space of love, from a space of as you say, the agape love. You know what I mean? But it makes it's real. And I always approach. I try to approach. I shouldn't say I always. I try to approach most situations in a way where love shines first, dignity, honored. Those pieces shine through in my interactions. I'm not always successful. I'll be very honest, but that's always my goal.
Yeah.
As human beings, we sometimes fall short of that, but I try very hard to ensure that when people walk into my space or when I walk into theirs,
Yeah.
there is an opportunity for me to share warmth and love and grace with them. Um, and that motivates me because
Yeah.
my goal is to ensure that you are your best self. Everyone around me are their best selves, because I in turn feed off of that, and I in turn will be my best self because I'm surrounded by people of that nature. It's funny, my pastor says, um, if you're the smartest person in the room, find a new room. It's true.
Yep.
It's the truth. It's the truth. You don't want to surround yourself with people who aren't going to uplift you, and that you can't uplift in return.
So I want to share that I feel that when I'm with you. And so I know you say you don't always get it right, but I feel the warmth and the love when I'm
Because
with
you're special.
well, okay. Um, so I'm gonna ask,
Okay.
and this is great because I know you.
Okay.
But I'm gonna ask for a humble brag moment.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
muster it up. All right. And in your perspective, what do you think, what value do you feel like you bring to the Black community?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep. Yep. I did it. Look.
You got me thinking. I think first and foremost, as a Black woman, I stand in the gap between those who don't have and those who want. And I mean what I mean by that, especially as I walk through this, especially as I walk through this earth now more intentionally than before, in light of all that's been happening in our world, in terms of systemic racism and the marginalization and the oppression of Black and brown bodies. I have become much more vocal, much more intentional in my words, much more intentional in my actions. Um, you know,
Wow.
my actions may not be one that garners news reports, but the little times that I'm in the space and I can make that little change, or add that comment, or make that microaggression clear to
Come
someone,
on.
it's important. It's important. So I think the Black community needs everyone to do their little part. And sometimes it's just a matter of showing up. Just show up,
Show
you know,
up.
just show up. Um, I was, I was, that my daughter and I had a wonderful conversation. This was uh, last year when everybody was in the Black Lives Matter movement and people were protesting. And her best friend said, I wish I could protest. I wish I could go protest. And Gabby was like, well, I don't want to protest. I said, no, I'm not a
Mhm.
protester either, but
Mhm.
that's okay. We
Right.
we will do our work in a different fashion, and we did. We did our own. We supported in our own way, and we did what we needed to do to ensure that um, the spaces that we are in and the areas where we, congregate are aware and that they know all these issues are important to us and that we just do not take these things lightly. So I think what I offer is maybe not the what is it the bass drum, but maybe it's the piccolo, maybe it's the triangle. You know what I mean? We are all part of the band. We're all part of the band.
That's um That's so powerful. Just show up. Operating more intentionally.
Mm.
That's that on its own. For folks that feel like they have to be at a certain position or space to add value, you saying just be more intentional. Um,
Yeah, and that's all it is. It doesn't have to be, once
wow.
again, I can't, um, we're not all going to be on the evening news or interviewed by a newspaper. However, the little things that we can do within our own space, within our own group, makes a difference.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes it's just not. It's not the biggest noise that's powerful. Sometimes it's the smallest whisper. You
That's
know.
so good.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I'll give you an example. When I'm in a classroom, this is a preschool classroom, kids, and I want them to listen to me, I talk in a whisper. All of a sudden,
yes.
everybody's trying to listen to me. Everybody's trying to. So you have to stay quiet in order to hear me. I could be like, stop it. I could yell. But all that does is just maybe startle a few.
Right.
Some may think that is an invitation to yell some more. But if I start talking in a very whispered tone and talk like this, and I'm pulling up books or I'm doing something, they're like, wait, what's Miss Florence doing? And why I can't hear her? Well, in order for you to hear me, what you gotta do? Exactly.
That's
So
so good.
sometimes even a whisper has more power than a loud noise.
There's somebody that needs just that. That's so good. Even the whisper can be more powerful. And you touched on it a little bit, but I want to go into a little bit deeper what you feel like the Black community needs.
Mm, I don't know. I just finished. So today I actually participated in a conference, and the topic was the school to prison pipeline, and it dealt with the out of school suspension or disciplinary practices of Black and brown bodies, and how Black and brown bodies are disproportionately affected as compared to their white peers. It was well done. It was very well done.
Okay.
But one of the things that in listening to it, I think what the Black community needs, what does the Black community need is so multifaceted. It is so complex. But I think, one of the things is healing. We as a people need to heal. And to heal, oh my God, requires so much. It means being heard. It means being validated. It means being understood. There's so many complex issues when it comes to healing, and the Black community needs to heal. And those who need to help with the healing are those who do the oppressing, who do the marginalization, who do, these are the people who need to enter into those spaces. And I don't necessarily know if that's ever going to happen. Because now, once you have a healing, then you have a level playing field, and then you can start building on that. So the Black community, for me, in my opinion, that's a very complex and deep and philosophical. It could be there's so many answers to that. There's so many answers to that. But I choose healing, because I think once we're healed and we're whole, because now we're healing, we're going to become whole. It will allow us to then make the strides that we need to make as a community. I believe.
Yeah.
But there's so many. I mean, a sociologist would give you a different answer, a psychologist
Right.
would give you an answer, an economist would give you a different answer,
Right.
an educator would give you a different answer. So the answer to that question, I think, is multifaceted, deep rooted. Um, there's a lot to it. But I'm going to start with healing first.
Let's start with healing. I like that plan. Um, I like that plan. Um, you are a nurturer.
I
Um,
I like that. I'll take.
um,
I receive that.
yes, take it in. You are a nurturer. Um, even in reaching out and asking you, to be here and to be a guest. Um, again, even in the way that you just desire to show up
Mm.
for people, uh, is such a blessing. At least it's a blessing to me. So someone comes to you and says they want to be like you.
Oh
What
my,
do you say?
oh my God. No, 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 no. Don't be like me. Don't. No, and I mean that sincerely. I
Yeah.
don't do. I really believe that God has a plan for every person, and that plan is unique to that person. What you can do is say, you know what, I like what she's doing. Like, and I'll give you a perfect example. I often say I often talk about you to my colleagues and friends because you have such a depth and such a willingness to serve God and a willingness to put yourself out there, and I want to be like you. You know what I'm saying? Like I see what you do, and I'm like, oh God, that relationship she has with God, I need that. So
Honey.
it's say you can say there's certain aspects about a person that you
Yeah.
admire, but
Right.
to be like someone, I think, is a disservice to that person because you
Mm,
are shortchanging yourself. You're shortchanging yourself because God has a plan. Trust me, God has a plan. And his plan is not for you to be like me or you or anybody else. His plan is for you to be exactly who he purposed your life to be. Your life is purpose for a reason.
your life has
It's
purpose.
purpose for a reason. There's a reason God put you on this planet, and there. It took me a while to realize. There was a book about, I forgot the name of the book, but about how to find your purpose, and I read it, and I was like, I still don't know my purpose, and oh my God, I'm never gonna know my purpose. And then it was simple. Your purpose is exactly what it is that you're doing right now.
Hmm.
That was for me. For me, so
Yeah.
purpose is to, be this or do that. No, my purpose is to be exactly where I am right now, doing exactly what I'm doing right this second. And that's good. That's fine, you know?
Good. I shaded that. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, somebody gonna get their download from that. That's good. Um,
You kill me.
operating in your purpose. So, what do you want to be remembered by?
Who do I want to say that again?
What, if anything, what would you like to be remembered by,
Oh,
or how
God.
do you want people to remember you?
First and foremost, I want to be remembered as a child of God
Hmm.
who listened to his voice, who walked in his will. That's important for me. I also want to be remembered as someone who, wherever I went, that people felt loved, they felt embraced. To your point, nurtured. I love that word. I do. I love that word. I do find myself. I do want to nurture. Um, I don't know. So a lover of education, a lover of children, young people are awesome, and I'm always advocating for the birth to five world. No, everyone forgets about them, but I'm always advocating for them because they don't realize how important that age is. Um, but yeah, someone who, a child of God, who I hopefully reflected his love, who truly
Mm.
reflected his love. Yeah.
And you do just that.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you. Okay.
you're welcome.
You're gonna be in my fan club.
First off, you already know it, okay? Um, um, okay. Before I read a quote to you,
Yes, ma'am.
do you have any shout outs at all? Anybody, anywhere that you'd like to give?
Of course, my shout out goes to my husband, Kevin. Woo-hoo. We will be married now, wow, 17 years? Yeah,
Wow.
I know. My daughter, Gabrielle, whom I adore to pieces. My one and done, but definitely my one, my number one. I also, my mom, my dad in heaven, my brothers, of course, Dominic and Chris, whom I adore pieces. They've been a great support. But it's just been a community for me. If the communities is it's why I'm here. The ancestors who came before me, who did what they did to get us here.
Yeah.
Think about it. I look at my parents, my mom and dad, and I think back and I'm like, you left your home to come here, not knowing really English, not really understanding what this community involved in meaning the United States of America,
Yeah.
to get to find a better life. I mean, would we be as brave enough to do it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even want to move to Jersey.
Talk about it.
I'm gonna be far from family. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
even though I
Real
love
talk.
my Jersey, I love my New Jersey, but I'm like, but I'm gonna be so far from family. But it's like to leave a whole country to come here. So my shout out is to those who truly came before us, who truly laid the groundwork for us, who paved the way for you and I to be on this type of platform.
Right.
Even, you know. But yeah, my nuclear family is phenomenal. I've been truly blessed to have people who support and who truly value me and who I value in return.
It's a good list. That's a good list. Okay, I'm gonna read you a quote.
Okay.
Okay. And just share if it resonates, if it means anything to you at all. All right. Anything else that comes to mind. The quote is, alone we can do so little.
Mhm.
Together we can do so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about community and about us being in each other's spaces and uplifting one another. Um, you know, you can, if there is a boulder in your path, you can try and push it by yourself and you may get it to move a centimeter. But when you have a number of people helping you push it together, you can bring it up move it forward, move it out of the way, move it,
Right.
you can do so much with it. Um, I think you know, we as a community are realizing more. I think maybe COVID has helped us realize how important community is.
Yeah.
Although we weren't able to be physically together, it forced us to find other ways to be together. And I think that creativity fostered um, opportunities for us to be with others. As you know, the family Zooms that we have and all those things. We usually used to wait for, Christmas and summer. But now,
Right.
because of COVID, we sort of figured out, hey, let's do family Zoom every so often so we just can touch base and connect. Um, you know, Once again, my pastor says we live in community, not in isolation. And we do. We do
Yeah.
live in community.
That's so good. I just want everyone on here to continue to be jealous because she's my auntie. And so
the best niece in the world.
in the world. Okay, so rapid fire time.
Okay.
Rapid fire. We'll see what comes to mind. Okay, we'll see what comes to mind.
Woo.
Yeah, stretch it out, girlfriend. Stretch it out.
Ready.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. A role model that you have.
A role model, my mom.
Hmm.
Man, listen. You want to talk about a beast? That woman is no joke. A woman of faith, a
Hmm.
woman who don't mess with her kids, don't mess with her grandkids. She exactly. She is a person who truly embodies what motherhood, sisterhood, all those hoods mean.
Yeah,
Really, yeah, that's my girl. That's my girl right there.
good one. Um, favorite food.
Oh my God, chicken wings and pizza. Yes, yes, it is. Not Haitian at all. But if I were to go to the Haitian side, it would be griot, bon pesé, and
Yes.
listen.
And now I'm hungry.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry.
favorite book.
Oh my God! But besides the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
besides the Bible,
Bible
okay,
counts, but it's up
yeah,
to you.
the Bible is my favorite book. I do carry it with me every day, everywhere. Um, I don't a favorite book. Hmm, I can't say I have a favorite book.
Okay.
I have several books that I
Right.
will recommend, but I don't have a favorite book per se.
Okay.
The Bible, yeah.
That's because you be reading everything, y'all. Okay.
This
Um,
is true, especially now.
everything, everything. A favorite quote.
Oh my God. Um, this has stuck with me for a little bit. Um, it seems impossible until it's done by Nelson Mandela. So the reason it stuck with me is because I just started school again, and I
Mhm.
was having the most difficult time. And I'm not going to lie to you. I bought a pair of shoes off Amazon, and I opened the lid, and the lid said, it always seems impossible until it's done, Nelson Mandela. I don't know why this shoebox had this saying in it, but it always seems impossible until it's done. So, put your first, and it reminded me, just take little steps to get it done, and it will be done. And so it serves as a reminder to all of us that you'll see something, and
Yeah.
it would seem overwhelming and truly insurmountable.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just need to take a step back and take that first little step. It could be that phone call or writing that sentence or reading that one paragraph or reading that page. And then once those small incremental steps will lead you to completion and will lead you to making it done. So that resonated with me. And it's not just about school, but also in life. Because I'm like, oh my God, I have to do this. Well, take a step back and take a look at it from these small incremental steps. And then you'll realize, oh, I finished the paper. Oh, I finished this assignment. Oh, I finished doing this for work.
Right.
So
It's no longer impossible.
it's no longer impossible. Exactly.
That's
Well said.
good.
Well said.
One word to describe how you're feeling right now.
Very blessed and pleased. Okay, those are two. Those are two. Those are two. And now I'm so excited. I am. I truly admire the work you do. And I say this in all sincerity. I truly admire the work you do. I truly love what you bring, how you bring your whole self and how you bring intentionality to everything that you do and everything you set your mind to, and the projects and the just everything. You really are someone who, and I told you this before, who has such awesome gifts And the fact that you're utilizing them and knowing them at such a young age, to me, is phenomenal, because many people do not know their gifts or their talents, or but they bring skills, talents, and gifts, or anything, until maybe sometimes never,
Right.
sometimes never, but you do. And to me, and that's what I'm saying. I'm blessed, I'm pleased, I'm excited, I'm a lot of things. So okay, so it's not one word, so I'm sorry.
No apologies here. Um, and thank you. Thank you. Right, because you get like the inside scoop on a lot of things. So it
You
means a lot.
mine too.
It means a lot. Something that you're proud of.
Oh my God, I'm proud of my family. I love my husband. I love my daughter. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the human beings that they are. Um, I'm just in awe of both of them, especially my daughter. I
Mm,
think because I'm seeing her blossom, it's
yeah.
just like, wow, okay, look at you. Ain't you grown? It's like, exactly. Although I'm proud of her, I pray and I always say this to her, I hope she's proud of herself. I
Yeah.
hope she is. I know it's hard, especially as a black child in this planet sometimes, but I want her to be proud of who she is and what she brings to the table, and to truly embrace her voice and her passion. So, I'm very proud of these two human beings in my life.
I love it.
Yeah.
Um, where can people find you or contact you?
Absolutely. If anyone ever wants to contact me, it's simple as my Harbor address, fbarbour at harborchildcare.org. I'm on the website, harborchildcare.org. Feel free to always reach out. I'm always here to mentor. I'm mentoring another person currently, an early childhood center director. And it's been really a wonderful journey to mentor someone. And mentoring for me is more of support instead of telling people what to do or what not to do. It's more of, hey, let's think this through. How do we want to make,
Nice.
you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm always available for talk and just to brainstorm ideas or anything of that nature. I'm definitely a person, like you said, who wants to serve and to be of service.
Ah, um, it's just I'm honored. I'm grateful because doing this and having this series, I'm just so overjoyed sharing people who are being themselves.
Right.
Like this is who you are. It's who I've always known you to be. And so it just makes me so happy when it's like, platformed. We'll see how many people will tune in. But to be able to platform somebody that I know and love and see what the work that they're doing, and to have you on the in this space and you speak and you share, and it's like, no, people, like this is the person I want for
Right.
you guys to know and get an opportunity to experience. And so I'm just grateful for you being you.
I'm honored that you even thought of me, to be frankly. Like I said, remember when you sent the invite, I'm like, really? Me? Okay, sure, if you want to. But no,
Absolutely.
I thank you for this opportunity. And regardless of who views the video, the people who view the video will be served by it. And
Yeah.
I know it will resonate with someone, not because of me, not because of you, but because of what we are doing in
Yeah.
terms of showcasing or resonating something that's within them. Because I would love to see somebody saying, "Oh, you know what? Okay, I hear her. I hear you. I hear
Yes.
her. Okay, this is something I can take away with me. Maybe put
Yes.
it in my pocket, take it with me." So that would be phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. I think
I'm
so.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm believing that God will move um through, right? Through us and through the series. Do you have any final thoughts, words for anyone watching?
No, my final thought, if anything, is to what you said resonates with me, which is be your true self. Be your true self. There's no reason to be anyone else. There's no reason to be able to copy or to shadow someone else. Be your true self. Um, and in everything that you do it with integrity. I have to tell you, I think um, I may not have always been popular in my stance regarding certain things, but I know I did it with integrity. I did it with honesty.
Mm,
I did it with love. I've always made sure that people in my circle have dignity and that they know that nothing is done with any malice or ill intent. And if you walk through the world with that love that surpasses all understanding, that peace and all
yep.
those aspects. And yes, it can sound trite to some people, but it truly is how I live me. It's I live through those. I walk through that lens.
Everything you do, do it with integrity.
That's it. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here, for making time, for making room, for the way that you operate, the way that you show up. Thank you for your giftings. Thank you for being the powerhouse boss that you are. Thank you for being the example of Black excellence. Thank you for operating in grace. I'm grateful to have had you on here.
I'm grateful
Um,
that you allowed me to be here. No, seriously, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you allowed me to be part of this. I am. So thank you. I thank
my pleasure. My pleasure. And for any and everyone watching, thank you guys for joining us on For the Culture. Until next time, catch you guys on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye for now.